and you know that you know, others will know that you know. Good afternoon, my name is Justin. Welcome to this 7-minute presentation on financial planning. I'm not saying that this segment is 7 minutes. I'm saying that you're going to learn a 7-minute presentation about financial planning. So before we start, can I ask all of you just to stand with me? Please stand with me. Okay, and yeah, it is good. Like chair, you can actually put the chair in if you want to. And now let me just all turn to your left. Turn to your left. Turn to your left. Okay, please face the left side of the room and give a good massage to the person in front of you, starting from the shoulders. Yeah. The person in front must show some appreciation. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. All guys also can do anything you want. You go back to 10. Chopping.
Go for 5 minutes.
No 5 minutes. My lesson plan says 10 minutes. Okay, pounding.
Wow.
Let me hear the pounding sound. Yes?
Wow, siap.
Okay, cupping.
Wow, cupping.
Yeah. Do the cupping. Cup your hands together. Let the hand between. Wow, sure, right? Okay, direction change. Massage. That's right. Massage. Yeah. Can. Massage me.
Better, no?
Yeah. Oh, Patrick, good. Okay, and chopping. Yes. Sure.
Like in Thailand, not in Singapore.
And pounding. OC drum machine. And followed by cupping. Okay, turn around, thank our partner, say thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you don't know the name of your partner, maybe it's time to just shake the person's hand, share with him your name, where you come from, which agency you come from. Yes? Okay. Now, a few logistics to mention. First, the toilet, if you're here for the first time, toilet, you can just move out and then walk further and turn left, the toilet is there. Please remember to take the keys, for we are quite stereotyped. So men, blue key. No ladies, so I will keep this one. Okay. The other one is fire exit. The moment when if there's a fire that breaks out, once you come out from this door, turn sharp left and you will find the fire exit over there. I hope you don't have to use that. And also, this program is for participants who have already completed the new agents training course, Module 1 to Module 4. So please make sure you have already completed the 4 modules. If you have not, then please complete them after this program as soon as you can, within 3 months. Okay, because that's a regulation from the MAS. Okay, now, what's the purpose of this segment? You will be able to deliver at the end of the program a 7-minute presentation to attract prospects to go through a comprehensive financial planning process with you. All of us know the benefits of having comprehensive financial planning for your clients. We have long past the days when we try to push products or push simple products and get clients to buy from you. But the problem is sometimes a comprehensive financial planning process would at least take 1 hour. And so when you try to call your prospect and say, I'm calling from AIA, I'm calling from ABC Insurance Company, and then I want to meet you to discuss life planning from the financial perspective, usually what would the client say? No time. Okay? And sometimes when you set up a booth at the roadside or in shopping malls, you're holding your brochures, you're looking for clients, and you say, can I spend 10 minutes with you? They will say no time. So this is a good way that you can tell your client, say, well, Mr. Prospect or Mr. Client, since you're still waiting for your wife to come out from the supermarket, why don't you just sit down with me just for a few minutes, just 7 minutes. Let me share with you some simple concepts of financial planning, which I believe is going to add value to you. So what do you think? So if you're the client, what would you say? 7 minutes. Not too bad lah. 7 minutes to get rid of you, okay? Something like that. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate this 7-minute presentation, and with that, will cut this off first. I hope this is what the function is. Okay, good. So I will bring this forward so you can see in front. I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer to help me. Nathan, you look like a very responsible family man. It's okay, you don't have to stand, just sit there. But I will just be talking to you like that. Of course, in real life we don't, but I just want to talk to you like that. And imagine you are a prospect that have agreed to sit down with me for 7 minutes to let me share with you the concepts. And I probably meet you like maybe on the shopping mall, and you're keen to find out more. So are we all ready? Okay. So just put yourself in the shoe of a prospect, of someone who have not bought insurance, or someone who is keen to find out. And let me know how you feel about this presentation. Okay? So let's start. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for your time. And usually when I talk to my clients for the first time, I will introduce the concept called standard of living. Now, Nathan, when we talk about standard of living, what comes to your mind?
Normally, it comes to my mind with the basic needs of
Like what?
living. Need a house,
House,
need
okay?
a family with my children.
House, family,
Food.
what kind of food? Do you eat at home or do you eat at restaurants all the time and things like that? So that's lifestyle, right?
Yeah, that's life.
Okay. What else?
Clothing.
Clothing. Yeah. Is it Jojo? No, is it Jojo Armani or is it
And some-
Giordano? Different, huh?
Some
Okay.
savings,
What else?
Some savings.
Some savings, cash in the
Cash.
bank, huh? Okay. Savings. What else?
Normal human being life, the public transport best in Singapore. Is good enough.
Transport, what kind of car you drive. Is it, do you drive a Mercedes or do you drive a Toyota car? Okay, what else? What else? I think there's also one more thing which I would say utility. There are some people when they open up the mailbox, what do you do when you open up the mailbox and you saw this envelope saying Singapore Power? What do you do?
Think of how much we're
You
going
probably
to
don't think about much about it, right? You just put it one side, or may not even open it because you know that you have enough money in the gyro account for the deduction to take place, right? But there are people when they open up the mailbox, they saw the letter, they don't dare to open because they are afraid. They are wondering, oh no, I don't know whether I have money to pay for it. So that's utilities. Okay, and what do you think support all these things? What do you think supports all these things? Type of house that you have, the kind of food that you eat.
I think money is a basic
Money.
one.
And specifically would be, we call it income, right?
Income.
Okay, so I'm going to write this thing here, income. Because it is income that really supports all these things. There's another factor which I have not mentioned, and that is time. Because over time, usually our income will go up. But at the same time, cost of living also go up. So for the sake of the simplicity of this presentation, I'm going to just assume that your income remains the same. Okay, at this point in time, I want you to imagine that you go to work tomorrow, and in the morning, then your boss asks you to go to his room. And then you went to his room, he says, sit down, I got something very important to share with you. Our company has not been doing very well. Economy has been picking up, yes, but somehow our company has not been doing very well. So the top management have made the decision to shift all the operations to China. And there are some of us who are lucky enough to be able to go to China to work, but unfortunately for you and me, we have to leave our job very soon. I wanted you to inform this as soon as I can. I'm sorry, I did my best. I tried to fight for you, but I'm sorry we have to leave. Now, what will be your reaction to it?
First reaction, I would try to find out what was the reason, what is the reason why I've been left out, and what is the reason for not able to go to the other places.
And then after that,
And after that, if it is acceptable, we need to accept it. I mean, this way of life. We need to go and find for other kind of jobs.
so you start to look for another job, right?
Look for
Okay, why not go for a long holiday? Why do you want to
Of
start?
course, you need to have enough savings for you to spend the money on holidays.
You need to have the assurance that you have some money source coming in, right? Yeah. Precisely, many of my clients will say that well, I will do my holiday thing, but that's provided I find the next job first. Now, because we instinctively want to protect this income that support all this thing. So my role is to help you support your standard of living. I'm not saying that I'm a HR, headhunter, I'm helping you find a job, but I'm talking about something else that perhaps we have less control in, such as when you retire. I know our senior minister says that it's best that we don't think about this concept of retirement. But we know that there will come a point in time where you just have to stop working, either physically or just want to rest and retire. And when you retire, your income stops. And so because of that, your standard of living stops. Then there's also another factor that can happen sometimes before retirement, sometimes after retirement, is when you fall ill. Okay, here I'm not talking about illnesses that are like cold or flu that last for 2 to 3 days. I'm talking about illnesses that could jeopardize your career, that could stop you from working. I'm sure your company has something in place. Perhaps they will support your income for 6 months or for 1 year. But usually, maximum after a year, they will say, Nathan, I'm sorry, we try to support you, but it's really 1 year. We really cannot keep you as one of our staff. And so when that happens, your income stops and your lifestyle also drops. Your standard of living drops. The third that can happen is that you may die prematurely. Of course, we don't want that to happen. But when this happens, you are out of the picture. But yet your wife, your children, they are still in the picture. And now they have to live without this income that you have been bringing in. So because of that, their lifestyle also drops. Of course, then there will be another factor, which is how many children do you have? Another?
Yeah.
2, right? And you have a daughter and a son.
Daughter and son.
How old is your daughter?
12 years old.
12 years old. And your son?
Son is about 7 years.
7 years old. Excellent. And I'm sure you are thinking that one day when you grow up, you're going to help them in their university, send them to a good college, a good university, right? Do you know how much it costs to study in Singapore, in the Singapore university?
Yeah, I was told by my friends and colleagues that it can be expensive.
Can be expensive. Like how much?
100,000
Are you a Singaporean citizen or PR?
Yeah, citizen.
Citizen. Okay. So I don't know. I was told that it's not so high at this point in time. Perhaps for a degree, maybe it will cost like 40,000. But now your daughter is 12 years old. When she reaches 20 years old, that will be like 8 years later. With inflation, it will easily cost $100,000 at that time. And if they cannot find a course in Singapore that's suitable for them, they want to go overseas, and that costs even much more. So when that happens, you find that suddenly you have to come up with a huge sum of money. And when that happens, you have it smaller, your standard of living will also drop. Of course, at this point in time, you're going to tell me that, no, Justin, I have some insurance, I have some savings, I bought some stock and shares and things like that, and so I have made some preparations. And in fact, that's true. In fact, I'll be surprised if you don't have any preparation at all. At the same time, I also have talked to many people whom the events have occurred. Now, tell me another, when would you think that a person will realize that he do not have enough money for retirement? Before you retire or after you retire?
I think usually most of the people will experience after that.
After retire, right? Yeah, precisely. And when would you think a person realize that he does not have enough money to pay for his medical bills? When he's healthy or when he's hospitalized?
When you get illness.
When he's hospitalized. Yeah, so precisely, this is what I'm talking about. Rather than to wait for the thing to happen and then we realize we don't have enough, why don't we sit down and have a critical and objective understanding on actually what level are we at? So this is my role. My role is to sit down and work with you, if you are willing, to find out what is the level of preparation that you have done to meet situations like this. So perhaps after the analysis, it will look something like this. Maybe a certain level of protection over here. Maybe you provide yourself more in this area. Perhaps for children education, they are still young, maybe less. And then finally for retirement, you have this amount of preparation for that. Now the next thing that can happen is that I want to sit down with you and ascertain what is the level of cash that you will want to have when this event occurs. Some of my clients say that, well, if I retire, my mortgage are paid, I don't need such a high income, so actually I only need 75%, which is fine. it doesn't matter at this stage. What is important is that you tell me how much you want to have, and I will be able to work with you to find out what is the gap now. And this is the gap. And the next thing I'm going to ask you is, what would you want to do with the gap? Some of my clients, they say, you know, among these 4 things, the most important thing which I'm concerned with is to make sure that my families are covered if I pass away prematurely. And so I want to make sure that this is covered. But some of my other clients say that, well, I would like to improve my financial situations incrementally instead. I'm not going to just focus on one, I'm going to focus all at the same time, but it will be an incremental thing. Right? So, but whatever it is important that we first start with an analysis of our current situation. So in your opinion, Nathan, would you think that it's a worthwhile process to go through a more complete analysis of financial situation?
Yeah, I think it's time to consider that. Sorry, today I'm busy. My wife
Sure,
is
of
waiting
course.
for me.
Yeah.
Find some other time. Yeah.
That's right, I agree with that. In fact, that's why I mentioned it's only 7 minutes. So if you would find that this is helpful for you, can I suggest perhaps we meet up another time for maybe around 45 minutes to an hour to go through with you a more detailed analysis of a financial situation. Would that be okay? So will next Tuesday be better at 7:30 p.m. or maybe Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.?
Why can't you just give me the number? Probably when I'm free, I would like to call you.
Okay, maybe I take down your number also. Is it okay? Okay, let's give another round of applause. Thank you. Okay, guys, so what is your reaction? What's your feel to this presentation?
I would really run away. It makes me to, I really be convinced.
So you feel convinced, right? You feel convinced. Okay, do I sound pushy? Do I sound like I'm like, I want to? No?
No, the flow is really there. It's
Easy
not like
flow, right?
dominating kind of thing. Hey, you better buy. But the thing is that you are a good salesman. You can promote
Thank you.
influence.
All of us are. That's why I say right at the beginning, when you know and you know that you know, others will know that you know. So how do you know that you know? By practicing. That's the reason why we have this segment. After the tea break, we'll be spending some time to practice, and when you work with me, I'm very sure that by the time we end this training, you will be much better than me. You can go out there and share this concept with people and to help those people who need help. Alright? So let's go for a tea break and give us a round of applause.